This is a bit of a weird video because, unfortunately, my audio didn't record properly. So I am now genuinely attempting to fix it. Okay, this isn't a joke thing like we did on the other video. This is a genuine attempt to make it as a proper video. I'm literally going to be acting. Okay, I'm going to watch the video, try and figure out what I'm saying. The sound is really bad. But the irony is we were talking about how we've bought proper equipment, and I've got a proper microphone, but I've also got a crappy webcam to record the video, and unfortunately the computer likes to use the microphone from the crappy webcam instead of the professional microphone with the massive mixer desk. So anyway, I hope you enjoy it and I hope it works. There's no choice. It's Saturday right now and the video's got to come out, so I've got to edit it and send it out today. So enjoy. Are you ready for this? We have to do it anyway.
We'll go for it.
So this is Picture Within. This is my current recommendation. Really, the reason why we did John Lord in the first place. It's near the end in a way. You know, it's late 90s. This is kind of his magnum opus, or at least his self-portrait. His parents died in the mid-90s, and that's cited as being significant because he's definitely a type of absence music, not like that band where there's an absence of notes or absence of main songwriters. Not that kind of thing. That helps because the main songwriter is actually there. That's good. I do think there's something that Deep Purple fans realise they've heard all along, and it's there in his live keyboard solos at the very least. Elgarian, but proggy. You associate it with the 70s progginess, but in a very tasteful way. You can hear something in maybe Wright and Banks, certainly Banks, this sort of awesome creative force that we know, that we recognise from the 70s. Really, in terms of composition, and it was almost not quite fully realised until the end of his life. I mean, bear in mind he had some fantastic solo albums in the 70s, but they're much more what people want to hear, and that's quite interesting, I think. And there's no Hammond. This is string stuff with different instruments, obviously, and there's lots of piano, but no Hammond, which is fascinating. 4 parts, all within this style, this introverted, pensive, reflective style. They're all subtly different, just the right amount of vocal tracks. You've got 3 out of 12 vocal tracks. You've got part 1, which invites you in, is very accessible. You've got part 2 and 3 exploring some different ways of doing it, and then 4 gives you the big long autumn ending. Such a difference to the concerto with the big epic thing. And as I said last week, this is the perfect lockdown music. This album, this one, it is the perfect lockdown music. It was what I needed. It's probably what I needed 2 months ago.
I've kind of had enough of John Lord now, Kev. It is a lot of John Lord. I did quite like this, actually. I mean, it's, as you say, very introverted, very soulful. It came across to me as, whereas the last one we did, was it Before I Forget or something like that? That did sound targeted at actually trying to shift some albums. Yeah. This is more something you'd expect to maybe find on a classical label, maybe.
Yeah.
It's not. It doesn't feel like he has any expectation or desire for it to sell. He just wants it to exist.
Yes.
Which gives it, which makes it very genuine, actually. So yeah, we started with the group and orchestra thing, yeah. And that was quite fun, and now we're at the opposite end of that now, and it is quite an interesting allegory for life sort of thing, the journey we've taken across these albums sort of thing. And I think there was Richie Blackmore was saying about the classical stuff that it was a bit of a frivolity, and we should go make rock music because that's essentially what we're good at. That's what we do. And I find it interesting that that John Lord and Richie Blackmore both end up making music that they're
Exactly.
that actually moves
Very
them,
little time.
Yeah.
that they actually have interested in.
This is
So
98.
pretty much the
Blackmore's
same
night was 96, 97.
Yeah. So the question is, I mean, at the time you would say, yeah, Richie Blackmore was right. I mean, Deep Purple went on and ripped up trees all over the world, but having experienced all that, they still go away and make the music that they really want to go and make. So, was he right?
It was all there, always there, but it was in the background. That's the thing, isn't it?
So was he right? Were Deep Purple right to go away and make tons and tons of rock music, be really, really successful doing that, or should they stopped and made music? I suppose the thing about the classical stuff that they were doing, that John Lord that was his thing really. It wasn't everyone else's in the band. So I suppose the point I'm making is, if you want to do what you really want to do, you got to do it on your own as a solo act. That's it. So it's not very insightful really.
That's the Peter Gabriel
It's
argument.
not very insightful. But
Not many books written by a committee.
But I did, it just struck me as, that's interesting that those, maybe I was in a more reflective mood myself. Maybe I was putting a more reflective mood by this album.
I think it's perfect lockdown music.
Yeah. That's all I got to say, really.
It's interesting you put those two albums side by side, Blackmore's Night and Picture Within, and both of them have this neoclassical thing. And early on you would think it was a John Lord thing, but I mean, Richie Blackmore did it as well, obviously, particularly with Rainbow. It was always there.
Yeah.
And obviously Blackmore was so dismissive of John Lord's one, and here you hear the difference. These two albums are nothing alike. People call it neoclassical, but I mean, really, it's neo-baroque, it's neo-renaissance. The stuff John Lord likes is actual classical period stuff. And John's stuff is symphonic and epic and all that stuff. Two completely different albums, not related to them.
Elgar has got a lot to answer for.
Now I only really know Elgar in terms of John Lord. Actually, it's not something I know about. But I wonder if actually he's had a big influence on all the 70s keyboard people, and that's what I'm hearing. Recorded in the very purpley city of Cologne. Cologne. That's my German accent. Something very Germanic about the music. Deep Purple are very German. The mountains and the plains. They're German. They're not German, but they're very German.
Mm-hmm.
It has to be recorded in Germany to really be something to do with Deep Purple. I mean, people like Rick Wakeman recorded similar music later in life, and that stuff is okay. But it's ultimately it's short-term enjoyment. This is something else that Rick Wakeman recorded. It's not more Rick Wakeman albums like King Arthur or something.
Album, I've read that. This is long-term music. That I can come back to this every.
This is long-term music. I come back to this every 5 or 10 years, and I wouldn't listen to it every day because it's very long. It is a 90s album in that sense. It must be 60 minutes. There's 4 parts, it should be said. It's not like a concept album with the 4 parts as the journey through existence.
Part 1.
The version I was listening to, just out of interest, is 1 hour 14 minutes. Well, if you take Crystal Spire out of there, it is pretty much an hour, isn't it?
But it is a bit long, and I think it's awesome.
If you're into that kind of thing,
reflective, pensive.
That sounds.
I mean, Deep Purple, but you don't necessarily want it in your face like Deep Purple. It's not like that.
5 eggs. It's not that high for me, but it's definitely a strong 4. I was quite pleased with it. I gotta admit. I mean, the group and orchestra thing was interesting and good, and then we peaked too early with that, I think.
And it's a strong 5 eggs for me. We have done John Lord. We didn't say much about him, but we've done him.
I don't know, we've not really said much.
It doesn't feel like we've said much, but this is a good album and you should
There's
buy
other
it
music.
if you want that kind of thing.